Yeah, Barb, I knew you meant mayor. I knew you must not have been great in spelling because you had that J in there for the Y. Bruce, I hope you got Deirdre available to do the Waukesha walk. I learned polka in Fredericksburg, Texas. I know that's great German country. Absolutely. Wow, Avery and Chris, New York City. Johnson's great granddaughter. Thanks for being on board. Hi, Kathy. Kathy from Florida. Hope you can all hear Pete playing in the background there, right behind the pot-bellied stove. Thanks for being on board, everybody. Anybody else on board? Check in on the chat box. Nice to see you. Krista, you certainly can wear your crown. I got to find out what we're going to be able to do at Floushink this year. I hope you see the king occasionally. I always introduce you as one of the two greatest students I ever had. So that's a real compliment. And I've insisted that PJ probably got a good one when he got you. Debbie and Dave from Grand Junction, thanks. Will, thanks for tuning in. Lisa Blanc, here we go. Wow. Congratulations on your son. We got a picture of your dad, incidentally, coming up right in front of, right by the ski area playing the accordion. PJ's laughing, huh? Tell him to get serious. Matthew, I learned the polka as a kid. Hi from Ohio Creek. Thanks for checking in, Matt. Bill, good to have you on board again. Bill Swan.
How do we get that in the slideshow?
Hey, Robbie. How's my old All-American runner? Hi, Jackie. Good to have you on board. Tell Conrad, tell Vanetta hi, Robbie. Jane, good to have you on board. Kirk, good to have you on board. Lilel Arnott, boy, that's a Crested Butte name from Arizona. Mark, good to have you on board from Centennial. How are we doing on time?
57.
Hope all of you folks can hear Pete Dunda playing in the background. He's going to be the center of attraction tonight, so hopefully everybody's got their polka and waltz dancing shoes on. Hi, Carol. Used to come down from Rumble and polka, huh? Had a nice talk with Carol. Hi, Robert and Jill from Provo. We're coming your way this summer. Great. Jen Hildebrand says, hey, it's a party at Tony's. Charles, we are at the Crested Butte Mountain Heritage Museum, which is Tony's Conico. Cheryl and Buck are here all the way from Crested Butte South. Hi, Buck, how you doing? I'm tapping my shoes to the tune of the polkas. Kind of like the old days. Anybody else on the chat board, feel free to pop in. Hi, Dave and Julie. Hi, Sherry. Clearwater, Kansas. Oh, Laura Dunda. Hi, Laura. Good luck, Dad. Lee, good to see you from Breckenridge. Bobby, great to have you on. A lot of folks are checking in right now. Shelly Reed, wish we could polka in person tonight. So do I. Got somebody all the way from Mount Crested Butte tuning in. We are about a minute from getting on, so anybody else who wants to hit the chat board, do it. Edith, good to see you. Emily, great. The La Vida Stable House on 12th Street. Bill from Omaha, great to have you aboard. Lawrence, Kansas. Hey, Don and Kathy. Going to see some of the photos you provided. Thank you very much for that and the info. Lisa, good to have you aboard. Hi, Deb.
We got 7 o'clock.
Folks, we're about ready to go on. So here's Nell Burkett.
Thank you everyone for joining the Crested Butte Mountain Heritage Museum for our series. We're at number 6, I believe.
Yep.
My name is Nell Burkett. I'm the curator at the museum. Let's start the evening as we always do with a short land acknowledgement. The museum recognizes that we are guests here on this land, historically Ute territory. We acknowledge that the Uncompahgre Ute and the Chappewash Ute were forcibly removed from this area due to the Bruneau Treaty. We hope that you'll take time to visit our neighbor, the Ute Museum, located in Montrose, Colorado, with exhibits developed in partnership with the Ute Tribes by History Colorado, our state historic society. While we can never do this history justice, we do include information about the Paleo Indians of the Gunnison Valley, the Ute people, the Bruneau Treaty, and those Pinos Indian Agency in our exhibits. We hope that you will consider becoming a member or making a donation to support this program and all the work we do here at the museum. You can do this by visiting our website at crestedbuttemuseum.com or by calling us at the museum 970-349-1880. We have walking tours every Saturday at 2 p.m. or private walking tours for 3 or more can be scheduled at your convenience. This program is being recorded and will be available at crestedbuttemuseum.com and on our YouTube page. If you have questions about our programming, visit crestedbuttemuseum.com and find us on Facebook or Instagram or sign up for our newsletter. We always list our events in the newspaper as well. Thank you to our lead sponsor, Western Colorado University Alumni Relations, as well as Bluebird Realty and Bill Petros. We'll have time for questions at the end of the talk, so post them in the chat or in the Q&A. All right, Duane, take it away.
Thank you, Nell. We got a very special performance tonight. Pete Dunda is going to be talking about the history of polka music at Crested Butte and then playing the polka as he is right now behind me. So this is number 6 out of 12 that we're talking about concerning Crested Butte and the Crested Butte area. We want to thank our sponsors and also Kevin Sanderford, who is providing the book that we give out as a result of the trivia question. And speaking of the trivia question is going to come at the end of the performance tonight. And anybody who gets it first will get a book on Crested Butte that I've done. We want to remind everybody that Flauschink is about 1 month away. And Pete is going to talk tonight about the history of music in Crested Butte and then play the polkas. So next week, we're going to have the history of skiing in the Crested Butte area with 90 photos. So hopefully we'll have a lot of people on with Flauschink about 1 month away. So here we are at the Crested Butte Yardage Museum, run by Tony Mihelich as Tony's Conico for over 50 years. The pot-bellied stove behind me is where Tony and a lot of the old timers used to gather and talk about the day's activities. And then also a little later on, ex-President Jimmy Carter used to come in here. He had a group of poor underprivileged boys and girls from Georgia that he'd bring in, and he would come in and talk with Tony by the pot-bellied stove, and 2 Secret Service agents would stand out by the door and politely ask people not to come in. Last Thursday, we talked about the ethnic people of Crested Butte. Tonight, we're going to learn a lot more about their music which was played at Rosich's Bar, now the Public House. Kochevers, Playland, which is the bottom floor of the company store. Frank and Gals, the Way Station, and many other places through the years. And the polka was really the big dance of Crested Butte. Pete is going to give the history, then he's going to play the polkas, and we expect everybody around the nation. I don't care if you're in New York, California, Minnesota, or Texas. Hopefully you got your dancing shoes on and you're going to dance. And Nell Burkett and I will do a little dancing in the background. If you need a lesson or two, hopefully you can see that. In 1932, Franklin Roosevelt was elected president. And when he took office in March, there were two songs that came as a result of Prohibition coming to an end. One of them was Happy Days Are Here Again. The other one was Roll Out the Barrel. So let's make this a happy evening. Vaccines are now available for the coronavirus. And this evening is in honor of all the old timers of Crested Butte, musicians and dancers all. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Pete Dunda. Pete was born and raised in Pueblo. Like Tony Mihelic, he was a great baseball player as a young man. He went on to be a fighter pilot, flew F-4 Phantoms. And then after retiring from there, he became a laser optic engineer. His degree is in laser physics. Pete has played all over the Gunnison country for Flushing, July the 4th, Oktoberfest, Memorial Day, Miners Ball, and also all over the state of Colorado. So I'm going to bring Pete up. We got photos that I put in just on the early days of Crested Butte. So here he comes. Pete Dunda is making his way to my position. Come on, Pete. Got it. Thanks. You're on, Pete.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Duane, and thank you to Nell, and thank you to the Crested Butte Museum for giving me the opportunity to play a little polka music and talk a little bit about how it all got started in Crested Butte. The accordion was patented in Paris in 1829 by an Armenian living in Vienna. And it was just a one row button box, very primitive, but the Italians took it from there, and from 1863 to 1876, they made great improvements in the piano accordion. And this is kind of what you see that it came to when the invention of celluloid and mother of pearl. There was great improvements in the aesthetics look of the accordion. Why the accordion? And I want to touch on why, when, where, and who played in Crested Butte in the earlier days, and what established the criteria and the character and the culture that we have throughout the years. Why the accordion? It's portable. It's everybody understands music.
Okay, bad connection. Sorry, everybody. We've been practicing and it's still going wrong. We're on.
Oh, we're on. We're back on. Well, sorry, folks, for those technical problems, but back to the immigrants. When they came over, they all couldn't talk to one another, but the music allowed them to share in the old country and share in the culture and share in some of the food. And they communicated that way. And why polka music? Well, because it's happy music. The accordion produces and polka bands put out what I call happy music. And that's was something I would challenge you to. If you hear a good rip-roaring polka, not tap your feet or get a little bit enthused with it and just want to get up and dance. Now, the road from the big mine led right down on 2nd Street to Elk. And in the late 1920s, there were 17 saloons on 2nd Street and then a little bit east and west on Elk. And the miners would come down after a hard day at the mine and have a beer or two or a Boilermaker, a shot in the beer, and get that coal dust out of their lungs and have a good time. It was also a place to socialize. In those days, with the immigrants, a bar or a saloon was not a place to go get necessarily hammered. It was like a community center where everybody could meet, discuss issues of the day, have a beer or two, and even though the language might not be the same, everybody got along. One big happy family, not always happy, but one big family. So there was a lot of places for music to take place. And I think Duane has already mentioned a few. I'd like to concentrate a little bit on two families, the Caricotta family and the Streitzer family. I think we here owe everything to them, and also the Josiah Sr. had a band. So in those days, there were what we call go-to bands. And whether it was for a Saturday night dance, whether it was for a wedding, an anniversary, a senior prom, the go-to bands was the Caricotta Band and the Streitzer Band and the Saya Band. And some of these musicians, most of them played by ear. They were not, they didn't need the music. They picked it up by ear. The Caricotta family all played by ear. Frank and Ernie, Joe and Silvio, and also in the Streitzer family was mostly played by ear. Now, Emil Streitzer, a very talented musician, could play accordion, could play sax about equally with other instruments. He was multi-talented, but he could read music. And when he sat in with a band like the Bailey Band or the Salinger Band, he would write the arrangements for, because he was the one that could read notes, understand music. So Emil Streitzer was very, very talented. Martin Streitzer, who came over from Podash, Croatia in 1891 and ended up in Floresta in 1903, he got out of the mine after a while and decided to, they bought the Croatian Hall and he formed his own band. It was a 9-piece band Martin Streitzer played clarinet. It was 3 accordions, 2 violins, saxophone, that was usually in the early days by Josiah, and a tamburica, which is a stringed instrument from Yugoslavia, and also a birda, which is a bass string instrument also from Yugoslavia. So he had a 9-piece band in the early days. And I ask you to use your imagination. You have a 9-piece band with 3 accordions, a sax, 2 violinists, and 2 string instruments, and Slovenes, Croatians, Serbians, and Italians whirling away, dancing the polka. I wished I would have been there. I would have loved to have seen it. The Streitzer family is also carrying on the tradition of having family reunions up Cement Creek, up Walrod Gulch. And every 4th of July period, they have a family reunion get together. I was fortunate that I was invited to join them for a couple years and got to meet Emil Streitzer and the rest of the family and sit in with a couple of jam sessions with them. Also, accordion player that played a Bandonian accordion by the name of Emil Lunk. He also went up there and mostly just solo. He wasn't in any of the bands, but he played in there with the family reunion with the Streitzer family. And probably the best ambassador of the accordion in Crested Butte is Boxy Spriteser. And in those days, everybody heard of Boxy. And when you're playing an instrument, whether it's an accordion or whatever, it's not just enough to play the notes. You got to play from the heart, and you got to have a good time yourself, and you have to be an entertainer. And let me tell you, Boxy was a character. He was an entertainer. He went up on the ski slopes. He played at the Alpenhof restaurant owned by Milo Luda. Robel Straubacher was also up there. And I think we have a slide that may come up a little bit later that has the accordion players, 4 of them up there at the Alpenhof. So the Caricotta Band and the Streitzer Band set the cultural tempo, if you will. They were ready to play anytime. They'd come home after a hard day at the mine and be ready to go no matter where you wanted it. The thing we're lacking nowadays is spontaneity. A lot of the best music wasn't at an organized dance or an event. It was when 2 guys got together and decided to take their instruments out and play and just have a good time. And we're here at the Crested Butte Museum with the potbelly stove. A lot of that spontaneity went on, just guys gathering around the stove, coming off of the mine. And if Emil Lunk or a Boxy Spriteser or any other musician decided to play, others would join them. And also at potluck gatherings, whether it be up Walrod Gulch with the Spritzers or at the Sportich's fish fries, Petitza, and the roasting of the lamb, if you will, at Vinadoc. Those were things that got the culture together. Vinadoc came on in 1985, and George Sibley sitting in a bar with Chuck Wirtz and Art Norris, thank you. They dreamed up flushing to flush out the winter right at the end of ski season, and decided to have a polka blast, and that's been going on ever since 1969. First one was held at Frank and Gal's, and then just about every bar in Crested Butte has had Flushing or hosted it. I've been in Kachevers, I've been in Bones, I've been in what used to be the Idle Spur. They had it for a couple of years. The Eldo had it for many years. So that was something started and is going. Vinatalk kind of lost the polka music in the 90s. Seems like the young crowd is more interested in the bonfire and burning the grump. And since the late 90s, polka music has not been at Vinatalk. I think I played down at Kachevers twice for Vinatalk when it was going. So we're losing it a little bit. But the Caricotta Band and the Streitzer Band kept the tradition going. Before I started up here in Crested Butte, a Crested Butte native, Chris Rouse, had a polka band. And I played with Chris a couple of times in the Talk of the Town. That's where we had the 4th of July and we had Memorial Day. Memorial Day has been a great dance, specifically for locals, with a march up to the cemetery and coming back to the Queen of All Saints parish home, and then a big polka dance, usually from 1 to 5. And Chris and I played that, and that was at the Eldo and Kachevers a couple of times. So we're trying to keep it alive. We're trying to keep the tradition alive. But we owe it all to the immigrants, the Croatians, the Yugoslavs, Slovenes, Italians, 2 great Italian families that lived close to each other, both in Crested Butte, and then they moved to Gunnison, ended up living next door to one another, was the Guerreris and the Caricottas. And they used to listen to Frankie and Ernie practice all the time. I've been told that Frankie Caricotta was perhaps the best accordion player to come out of Crested Butte. It was a passion with him, but it's a passion with all of us. I think all the Streitzers and myself, the music, I got to tap my toes to it when I'm playing it. So I think later on when we get into the music, grab a partner. I hope you got your dancing shoes on, and we'll try and keep the tradition going. But Flushing is a month away, and it's polka time. Here we go with the beer barrel polka. Wine and beer. Now it's time to roll the barrel from the can. One more time. The barrel. We've got the blues on the song of good cheer, whiskey, wine, and beer. Now it's time to roll the barrel for the game's all here.
Thank you, Pete. Well, Pete's ready to do another one. I'm going to tell a little story on Flauschink, one of the early years of Flauschink. I'll get over here. One of the early years of Flauschink, a bunch of locals and myself were skiing at the Crested Butte ski area. Don and Jan Carroll, Don had the shoe store, Ron Meyer, medical doctor, Neil Edstrom, who's the snow ranger at Crested Butte. And while we skied, we had a little liquid refreshment along with lunch. So about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're above what at that time was the warming house. And Neil Edstrom says, let's do the Aspen Shuffle. And we said, well, what's the Aspen Shuffle? And Neil said, I'm going to start off. Second person puts his arm around me, and then everybody else does the same. We'll snake dance down to the bottom. Well, of course, that lasted about 1/4 of the way down the hill. Tom Prather, my good friend, was at the bottom of the hill, and one person looked up and said, blankety blank college kids, and there wasn't one college kid among us. All right, Pete, you're on again, ready? I want everybody dancing wherever you are across the country.
All right, here's Duane's favorite polka, one called The Wooden Heart.
Thank you, Pete.
Is it waltz time?
Yeah, but I want everybody who is dancing across the country, I want you to get on the chat board now so we can see who is dancing and where. So we're going to take about 1 minute, and I want you to get on that chat board and let us know what's going on.
Dancing in Breckenridge, dancing in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, we got a bunch of them. Very good. Colorado Springs, Centennial, Gunnison, Illinois, Eagle, Washington, D.C., Austin, Montana, Missouri, Canyon City, Holly, Crested Butte South. Keep them coming on the chat board. Pete, it is time for the great blue skirt waltz.
All right.
Folks, I'm very happy to be able to dance with Nell Burkett in the background. And now, if I cut in front of Pete, let's get on that chat board and let me see how everybody is tapping their toes across the nation. So let's hit it. I'm looking at it. Indian Hills, Colorado. Third Street. Indiana. Very good. Pete is going to switch accordions. He's going to go to a little older one. Cocoa Bay, Oregon. Missoula, Montana. Summit County. Ah, boy, we got them all over the country. Crested Butte. All right, Pete. Pete's about ready to play another one. We hope you're tapping your feet everywhere. Texas, Houston, Oklahoma City, Leadville, and Frank Manson. Hi, Francis. Pete, you're on again, buddy. Let's play some of those great Slovenian, Yugoslavian ethnic polkas.
We got it. We got it. This accordion is circa 1920s. Come out of Trinidad, Colorado, made by the Bellino family, which is written on the grill here. And this is the type of accordion that I know. I've got a picture of Frank and Ernie Caricotta with accordions like this. And same way with the Streitzer family. And I want to thank Don Streitzer and Dennis for the photos and the interviews. So here's one called the Mountain Echo Polka. you notice the sound is a little bit different than the newer accordion. There's one called the Old Country Polka. All right. I think it's time for the Slovenian national anthem, I call it. It's a waltz that almost all Slovenian polka bands or Croatian whatever called Daj Daj, Srčnek nazaj.
Right, well, we got Pete taking just about a 30-second break here. Let's hit that chat board again. I wish that we were able to do the polka without this coronavirus, but hopefully we're getting pretty close for it to end. And I can dance again with Krista and Laura Guccione and Nell and Shelley and Glow and all the other great women who are great dancers. Pete, we got time for about two more. Your choice.
All right. We'll do a Croatian one here. Omarička Pegla. dokey, she's okay. Hey, hey, okey dokey, she's all right. Folks, I normally play standing up, but I talked to our weatherman here in Gunnison, Dr. Bruce Bartleson, and he told me that an accordion plays better and easier at lower altitude. So instead of standing up, I thought I'd sit down.
All right, Pete, we got one more and then I'm going to come on and I'm going to tell you folks what I'd like to have you do. So it's up to Pete for the last good polka.
All right, here's maybe a little bit newer one out of Cleveland called Newberries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pete.
It's polka time.
Now, what I want everybody to do, Nell Burkett is going to give you the email address, CrestedButteMuseum.com.
Curator at CrestedButteMuseum.com. I'll put it in the chat.
You'll put it in the chat, and I want you, all of you folks out there, to send an email to Nell at the museum. She'll put it on the chat box going on right now, and she'll get it over to Pete, and I want you to tell him how well he did tonight. I think we had a tremendous time. So I'm going to have Pete up here looking at the chat box. Send us your chats right now. Thanks for keeping the music alive, Don Streitzer. Way to go, Pete. Doug Carlson. That was fantastic. Thank you. Love the polka. Keep them coming. Put your name up. Jennifer Payne. Fantastic. You're all coming in. Pete, can you see? It's all part on the chat box. Bobby Martin, fantastic job, Pete. Julie and Dave say hi to Susan. Dancing in Breckenridge. First time hearing polka and great to hear it from Pete. Thank you, Pete. My third chance to dance to your music through the field trips. Pete, what a lot of fun. Enjoyed this so much. Thanks, Pete. Amazing. That's great, you guys and ladies. Now, as we keep those chats coming in and keep coming in, I want to remind everybody, next time on March the 11th, we have a special session again, Skiing History of Crested Butte. 90 photos. It'll be tremendous. We want all of you on board. Now I'm going to have Pete say a few words.
Well, it was a pleasure to play. It was a pleasure to be back here at Tony's Conico around the potbelly stove, reminisce about some of the memories and the places that we've played in Crested Butte. And for Chris Rouse, who grew up here, and myself and my band, we're trying to keep the tradition going. We thank Wayne. Duane, we had a lot of fun with our Wednesdays at Western. We played polka and danced polka at the top of some of the best passes in Colorado, Red Mountain, Monarch, Cumberland. Help me, Duane. The parking lot on the top of Monarch.
Yeah, Marshall Pass.
Marshall Pass.
Red Mountain Pass.
Red Mountain, and played in Silverton, and all through Wednesdays at Western. So keep your eye on that. And hopefully if the virus, if we got control of it, we can start those again.
Pete, we have a whole bunch of people. Get your accordion up there again. We have a whole bunch of people who want an encore. And the encore suggested by about 4 or 5 people is Lara's theme, or Somewhere My Love, from Dr. Zhivago. So we're getting the other accordion set up with Pete here, and we're going to finish off this evening with one of the great songs of all time, Lara's theme from Dr. Zhivago. We kind of all know it as Somewhere My Love. So get your dancing shoes on again, and we'll finish off with Somewhere My Love. So Pete's
Thank
ready
you.
to roll.
Thank you. I played this at my daughter's wedding, and it's my favorite also.
Thank you very much, Pete. I think this has been a wonderful evening.
It's been fun.
And I know that there are a lot of old timers who are not with us, who are probably upstairs saying, way to go, Pete.
Thank you.
Vandenbusche, Dunda, Burkett, and Dan Zarowski is doing a lot of the filming out here behind the scenes. Over and out. We'll see you on the skiing history of Crested Butte next Thursday with 90 photos. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
How many do we have on board now? We got 404.